Are you really listening to this podcast all by yourself? What? Hit that subscribe button. Share it with the homies. Watch it
Smash
with
the
the
button already.
boys.
Smash the button.
Smash the
It's right
button.
here.
Let's get right into the episode.
How was that clap, Jamina? Was it good?
Amazing.
Hello and welcome everybody to the Climate Podcast. I am your co-host, Ibrahim Zahdan, joined by my co-host, Jamil Abed. Today, we have Mr. Showtime himself, Brandon Orlowski. Brandon, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing all right here on a Sunday evening, my man.
Sir, yes, sir. Glad to hear. So, Brandon here is a diehard Bulls fan. He has his own podcast called What's Wrong With Us, where, yes, sir,
Snap. Flex that jersey.
Flex it. You know what? Before I even get into it, what kind of jersey are you wearing, bro?
It's the I forget what year it's from, but it's the Christmas edition Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
The Jimmy
Fire
Buckets
jersey.
cursive.
I thought about wearing the D Rose jersey because he's my favorite, back from when I was a kid. But I was like, everybody's probably got that jersey.
Yeah.
I don't know I don't know who else has this one.
I think that is the first Jimmy Buckets one, right? Right, Jimmy?
What's up? Yeah, he's definitely
Jimmy.
the first one to have Jimmy Butler. I actually have the T-shirt version of that
Nice.
jersey, the Christmas edition. So,
Yeah.
and it's Jimmy Butler as well. It's the same one.
Absolutely.
But like I was saying, he has his own podcast called What's Wrong With Us with another person.
It's in the
shout
link
out-
down below. Everyone, go check it out.
Facts. Shout out to Greer. You guys do an amazing job.
Thanks, man.
If you want to go ahead and talk about what you guys do real quick and kind of plug it.
Yeah, like Abraham said, the podcast is called What's Wrong With Us. It's a mental health podcast where me and my friend Greer, me and her just talk about, what's wrong with us. Basically, we go about we just talk about like the stuff that's been going on in our week, mental health wise and really life wise, and how it affects our mental health, how we apply what we've learned and what we've gathered in life to our mental health experiences in order to make them better. And then people listen, and hopefully the goal is that other people listen to the show, and because we try to make it easy listening and kind of casual, that it's easy to follow for people, and they can also, like, other people with mental health can listen to this and just kind of have like another space to kind of just having like another outlet, because I know me and Greer, part of the reason we do it is just to have like another way of getting our feelings out. Like it's another form of therapy, really.
Yeah. And I remember when you guys first started, it was compared to what you guys have now, based on what you started earlier, it's changed a lot. You can tell in the beginning you guys were kind of like not unsure, but you guys were kind of working out the kinks. Now it's like a well-oiled machine where you just jump on and you guys know what you're going to talk about and everything. But it's really cool.
Thanks, guys.
I wanted to actually, right before we get into our actual basketball agenda, give you just a little bit more of a platform, because mental health is a very, very important topic. So just wanted to ask you real quick, since you're more seasoned than the average person on the topic of mental health, what is the common thing that a lot of people go through that leads to mental health issues? At least from your experience, from what you've learned.
Yeah, it's a good question, and it's a good question with really no answer, because the different ways that mental health and like mental illness can manifest, and like the things that lead up to anxiety and depression, because I'm not sure how much of anxiety and depression and stuff like that is like almost like learned. Like I don't want to say learned like it's not like a real innate thing that is inside of people.
Yeah.
Because that's like I'm of the mindset that most people that deal with mental health are born with it, and they can't really change the wiring inside their brain. So what things that lead to mental health and anxiety and depression? I mean, you can definitely point to outside forces like a global pandemic, or the economy being bad, or someone's personal life being in disarray with their job or their spouse or anything like that. So really anything can lead to, anything can play into mental health, but I don't think it's really any one set thing.
Yeah.
Variable of things, yeah.
For sure.
Mhm.
Well, I appreciate you
Mhm.
taking that time to speak about that. So let's
Yep.
jump into the main agenda.
Right. So, you being a Bulls fan, knowing the history of Michael Jordan, knowing the smack talk and all this stuff, or actually maybe this has happened to you personally. What is the craziest smack talk story that you've experienced or heard if you haven't like experienced anything crazy?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really experienced anything too out of the ordinary when I'm playing on the court. I know this one time, like, it's nothing that this guy said. It's just like so like every time he would, he was this bigger guy. He would just stand in the corner and try to shoot threes all the time. And every time he would grab the ball, it's going up. So
Yeah.
if you pass him the ball, like he'd grab it, he'd look at it, he'd kind of give a little shrug, and then he'd just fire it up. And I'd say it probably went in about 50% of the time, so that's why it pissed you off. Because if he's just chucking them up and nothing's happening, it's like, yeah, you can just you could keep doing that. But the little smirk gets you when it's going in half the time. So I mean, I don't know, just that little like swagger and confidence on the court
Do-
was memorable for me.
Does it ever make you mad because there's that stereotype? It's the 7-foot white guy who doesn't drive in. Does that ever make you mad? That's just like you're tall and like you're big for nothing, or do you just go, all right, if it works, it works?
Well, yeah, I'm only 6'3", but a lot of the time when I do
Only?
play, yeah. Well, like Jamil's saying like 7 feet. But yeah, a lot of the times when I do play, I'm one of the taller guys,
Yeah.
and that kind of forces me to play like the 4 or the 5
Yeah.
when like in reality I'd be like a 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For real.
But yeah, so I know how to I kind of know how to handle the ball, so I guess it's whatever. So yeah, that's whatever.
So I hope this isn't it, but I'm assuming this guy is not the best player you've played against. There's got to be someone else that's been
No,
kind of just like.
Let me think of the best guy I've played against. I don't know honestly if there's like one that I can like pinpoint, because
Okay.
there's definitely been guys that like just they step on the court and it's like, yeah, this is not we're not even in the same league. Like
Yeah.
like you're like I remember like people that can. I remember the first time playing with a guy that can dunk, and
Oh
it's
my
like,
God.
what are we even doing here? Like this guy, like I'm probably thinking like this guy's going to the NBA for sure.
Like, I don't belong here.
Exactly.
Dunking is something you always like joke about because you never play pickups and no one's ever really dunking in any pickup games. So when someone actually dunks, it's just like, why am I here?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, I don't belong in this setting. Like,
Or,
let
yeah,
me
or
go to
like
my little
even-
tykes.
Yeah, or like even in high school when you would start playing and like guys from the basketball team would play and it'd be like, okay, there's like a little extra something that they have,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
and then you get the guys that aren't on the team but still love to play, so they have like that street ball style, and then like that's a completely different fucking game.
Yeah.
You know?
What about you? You're 6'3". Got any rim grazers in you?
I used to be able to dunk a little
wow.
bit.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't know this.
I don't know if it was like 10-foot regulation, but it was 10 foot in the driveway.
Okay.
So I used to be able to every once in a while, if I mustered up enough of the energy, I could get up there.
Brandon got the bunnies. I see you. I see you with the bunnies. So,
had it.
At what point did you kind of fall in love with the game? And on that same note, who was the guy that you kind of grew up watching? It was like, I want to play like him, or I want to be like him.
Yeah, I didn't. So like, yeah, in addition to being a Bulls fan, I like all the sports and the Chicago teams, and that didn't really occur. I didn't really care about sports until I was about probably about like 2009, 2010.
Mhm.
And then that was a pretty good time because that was when the Blackhawks were starting to win the championships. That's when the Bulls were starting to get hot. The Bears had a little run of their own.
Oh man, I hate the Bears. We
don't talk about we don't have to talk about those.
No.
EVO. But yeah, basketball. When did I fall in love with basketball? Probably around 2010 when Thibodeau came to the Bulls. I started paying attention then, and D Rose and Joakim Noah got me into the game.
Who were you more excited for? Was it Joakim or Derrick Rose? Only because obviously Derrick Rose was the better player, but Joakim was the hype man. Who did you enjoy seeing more?
The MVP season for D Rose, obviously, he was the rage and he was the guy that everybody wanted to root for. But then, once he got hurt and the injuries slowed him down, you had to rely on guys like Dang and Noah and eventually Jimmy Butler and even Pau Gasol at one point. The thing about Joakim was that he cared and gave such a shit about the team and about basketball that and to have a coach like Tibbs who really brought everything, literally everything out of him. Joakim's 2014 season where he won Defensive Player of the Year, that was his last good year before his knees completely disintegrated. before he went to the Knicks, got $70 million to sit on the bench and said, "See ya."
Got the
bag, and then fucking retired. Went to Memphis, got some numbers, and then said, "Peace, I'm out."
I love that.
And retired a Bull.
Dude, the best is the pistols, and then he puts them in his holsters, man.
He would while he was backing up, he'd still be hesitating, and then he put them in.
Yeah, he did retire a Bull, didn't he? So I wanted to ask you. I gave a hot take last week on Derrick Rose, or was it a couple weeks ago? And I keep flip-flopping on it back in my mind. And it's something that I always think about, something people on the internet always bring up. It's about Derrick Rose's MVP season. So let me just refresh everyone on his stats. 25 points a game, not bad. 7.7 assists and about 4 rebounds a game. And I think we had an insane number of wins that year. We were number one.
62-20.
62-20 has it on memory. So my question to
Best
you
record in the league 2 years in a row.
Yes. My question to you is, this was at the time when LeBron James was arguably at his best. LeBron James was at his best. Given that, do you still think Derrick Rose should have won the MVP? At LeBron James's best.
I'd have to look at the other numbers for the other players that were also in contention. Let me look up LeBron's numbers. I know my hand is in the computer screen. My laptop is stupid because the bezel for the camera for the laptop is not on the very top; it's at the bottom of the bezel,
bro.
So all my angles are I'm down here, But LeBron James 2010, 2011 stats, basketballreference.com.
Yeah.
Let's see what we can do here.
He's having 26 a game, and the Heat were second in the East with 58 wins.
While he's looking that up, I think it comes down to the simple fact, like he said, we had the best record, we had the best team, simply because of Derrick Rose. And I think I said this before, the term MVP has been fluctuating a lot, which also determines who wins.
Yeah.
Now it's more like who's the hype. I think back then it was literally the definition of MVP.
Yeah. So back then, 2010-11, LeBron had 26. He averaged 26.7 points, 7 assists, and 7.5 rebounds, with 0.6 blocks and 1.5 steals.
So he was flirting with a triple-double, basically.
Yeah.
So, Rose had 4. He was averaging 4 rebounds.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's the whole MVP thing. People talk about all the time. If the MVP was to go to LeBron every year, how it probably here's the thing. If the MVP was how most people think it should be, then it would go to LeBron every year.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how it is. But it really is for like what player had the best season and like had more like most of more of an impact on
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
team, you know,
Yeah.
like who was it last year? James Harden?
It was
Um,
Giannis, right?
Giannis.
I think it was Giannis.
Yeah,
Yeah,
2020.
they had the best record in the league.
Yeah,
The Bucks broke out. Giannis deserved it.
yeah,
And then the year before that, like James Harden was the scoring champ, had like averaged 30 points, was just going off. Rockets were one of the top seeds. So like, did Derrick Rose deserve the MVP in his third season? You could if all day, and you could you could if all day about anything.
hmm
I'm probably
Yeah.
gonna say yes because I'm biased, and I saw it with my own eyes. The season that
magical.
he had.
Magic,
It was no. I'd never seen a point guard do that. I'd never seen any player do that with his speed and his ability to make layups in the lane like that.
I think he's the
and
best finisher of all time.
and his bounce, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, because the Bulls also had the best record in the league. And he was far and away the best player on that team. He was breaking out into a superstar. So you could probably still say that, yes, he does deserve the MVP.
I think you're probably
And
right.
if it's, if it's like, if it goes to the best player in the NBA, then it would go to LeBron every year. But,
Every year. I agree.
Can't, I guess people can't really have that.
So let me ask you this then. This is another question I asked at some point in a previous episode. If Michael Jordan played in today's era, same Michael Jordan, same averaging so many points a game, 10-time scoring champion Michael Jordan, does he still win 5 MVPs? And I don't mean in terms of other players beating him. I mean in terms of like how the media works and like picking favorites and stuff like that.
Right. That's a great question. You'd probably have to say he doesn't because of how the award is given out nowadays.
Times have changed, yeah.
Times have changed, and people talk about like, oh, Michael Jordan didn't play in an era with he was playing against bombs or whatever, and that's why he won the 6. And then that's a crock of shit. But I think nowadays, like, there is more like talent and parity in the league, because you look on like every single team, and they've got like at least one guy who like could potentially become a superstar.
Yeah.
Like you look at like even like the bad teams, like the Sacramento Kings got De'Aaron Fox.
What's his name?
Marvin Bagley.
The new rookie. Destroying it. Kings.
Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah, Halliburton. Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tyrese Halliburton.
Monster.
Memphis, you got John Morant and Jaren Jackson. Hawks got Trae Young. Like, you can just go down the list. Every team has talent, and every team has players that could become superstars. I mean, even look at the Bulls. I personally don't think Markkanen or Carter are going to become like superstars, but I think Kobe White could potentially become like Lou Williams, like a very respected, like 6th man of the year type player.
Bucket getter,
yeah.
I 100% agree. I was gonna say the only team that doesn't have that is the Pistons. I don't know why. What's wrong? Something's wrong with the Pistons, their organization.
Yeah, you're kind of right about that.
We just beat the Pistons as well today.
Well, the Pistons they had one guy that Derrick Rose was like raving about. I forgot his name.
Oh yeah, Killian Hayes.
Yeah, but even him, like,
he hasn't shown much yet.
Yeah,
and I mean, he's also playing in Detroit. There's really nobody there to push him, or there's nothing really there for him. Derrick Rose got traded, so his mentor, so to speak.
Yeah. You mentioned Kobe White as possibly, at his peak, maybe being a 6th man. I know the other day they decided to bench him, and I believe they won that game as well. And now there's trade rumors of trading Satoransky and a pick for Lonzo Ball. A, do you want that to happen? B, do you think he should be a starter? And C, like, will it even work out? Like, do you think he'd fit well in the Bulls?
Yeah, I know this has been the Lonzo Ball to the Bulls rumor has been going on, I feel like, for like 2 years.
Oh yeah.
and now it's finally. I feel like we're finally getting some traction on it because we're getting reports of like, oh, the Bulls may have made an offer. It might be Sato and some second rounders, which I think why would you take that if you're the Pelicans?
Yeah.
I thought it would take like, a Carter or a Markkanen
They
and
give
some
up
second
Carter,
rounders.
bro. I hate Carter.
I don't know how I don't know how I feel about Carter because I feel like he's overmatched a lot and he like it's not that he doesn't know how to play, it's just that like he's just overmatched and overwhelmed. Like sometimes he doesn't know like what role he's supposed to play.
He's just not big enough. It's as simple as that too. Like he's like exactly what you're saying. He's not as big enough. He's not big enough. Like
I think maybe he could be a 4, but that's the thing. You already have Markkanen, so you kind of got a log jam there.
Yeah,
And
fair.
right now you have Thaddeus Young. He's probably not going to be around for the future, but you never know. The Bulls could decide to bring him back if they
no look.
if they get lucky in the draft or they get a young guy in free agency or a trade or something. They might want to bring Thaddeus back.
So if you're the Bulls GM, it doesn't have to be Lonzo. Who is the guy you're trying to bring in right now? Is it a big man? Is it Lonzo? Is it anybody?
It's got to be a point guard. It's
Okay.
got to be an actual point guard, and that's what Lonzo is. When people say true point guard,
Facilitator,
they mean facilitator, pass first, playmaker, and that is none of those things describe Kobe White. And that's not, that's not a knock on the guy. He could put up 20 a game, like that. He could shoot 4 threes in a row and and catch on fire. But the guy, he just doesn't know the NBA point guard game, and that's not his fault. He was thrown into it because Karnisovas and Billy Donovan wanted to see what they got in the guy. Because they didn't draft him. The only guy that they drafted was Patrick Williams, who I love.
I love him.
Facts.
I think he's going to be great. But with Kobe, it's from what we've seen so far, it looks like he's going to translate into a high volume scorer, a high volume shooter. And since we have Zach LaVine, he doesn't really belong in the starting lineup if we have a facilitator point guard, so he would come off the bench, be the 6th man, and I think that's probably the best role for him going forward. But in terms of like which point guard or like who's it going to be, I don't think we're going to get a really really high pick in the draft to take a guy like Cunningham or something like that. So your options might be limited to trades, and it looks like Lonzo Ball is the guy that's most on the market. And he probably still has the most potential because like even coming out of college, he was hyped up a shit ton, and then he got drafted to the Lakers. It was kind of a rough situation for a multitude of reasons, and then he got traded to the Pelicans, was able to come out a little more, was able to become a better defender. So now if he goes to the Bulls and is able to really like solidify himself, like, okay, I'm going to get traded here, they're going to sign me to an extension, and I can grow with, LaVine, Williams, and whoever they draft, and whoever they decide to keep. I think they'll end up keeping White, and I think one of the big men's going to get traded or, not re-signed or something like that. Yeah. Just because Karnisovas wants to get his vision in there.
Bro, 2 things. Lonzo Ball, I think, would be a really good fit because of 2 reasons. Like you said, he's a true point guard facilitator, but also because like the man has been working on his game ever since he got to the league. Mm-hmm. He was not a good 3-point shooter.
His 3-point shot has improved dramatically,
big time, and like that just shows like, yo, this man is putting in the work, and he's not taking the NBA for granted, and the fact that he's on a team and whatnot, like he's putting in the work. Other thing too, with Karnisovas, the fact that he signed this bench mob, majority of these guys to like 1-year deals or minimums or whatnot. And there's actually like the bench is probably one of the best benches in the league. This shows that like, yo, the Bulls are already making improvements and they're already like doing the right thing. We've suffered way too long with
the Bulls. Yeah, the Bulls decided
contracts.
They decided that they're not fucking around anymore. The minute that they fired Jim Boylan.
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
the minute they fired John Paxson first, they got rid of him, they got rid of Gar, and then they got rid
Long
of Jim
time
Boylan.
coming, man.
Yeah, they killed King Ghidorah. 1, 2, 3. And that needed to happen, and that was I think that was the spark that is pushing the Bulls forward, because like guys under Jim Boylan, they just weren't playing inspired. They weren't playing with any kind of real will to win or anything like that, because the guy was a fucking clown. And no, I mean talking
He
about
was.
I mean those post-game press conferences. I used to work in radio. I used to work at 670 The Score.
Go ahead and plug that shit. Yeah, talk your shit.
Shout out The Score, Mitch Rosen, all them guys. And so they cover the Bulls games, like they carry the Bulls games, and we would run the game, we'd pull the highlights as they happen, and then we carry the post game press conference afterwards, and like that was always like the highlight because you get to hear what the hell is Jim Boylan going to say to try to explain to us why you called that timeout when you're down 15 with 20 seconds left. And like, what's the point of that?
Oh yeah.
Why did you blow a 10-point lead to the Lakers with 5 minutes left in the game? And then he's talking about like, oh, well, I got 15 guys to grow, and like, what the fuck are you talking about? You're not growing people. You're just a basketball coach. Just go out there and coach.
You hear that, egghead?
Bro. Yeah. Apparently, according to a bunch of NBA players, Jim Boylan has a wet jumper.
No.
A wet jumper. Yes, I forgot. No. I think it's called the Role Player Podcast. It's either that one or it's either the one with Norris Cole's podcast. I forgot which one. But a bunch of former NBA players, they had a guest on, and they were talking about the Bulls and Jim Boylan and whatnot. I think Nate Robinson was on there, and that's what they were talking about, the Bulls and stuff. Mm-hmm. And the guy literally was like, yeah, man, we were working out one day, and Jim Boylan was in the gym, and we're like, who the hell is this bald white boy shooting? And he was not missing. And they realized later it was Jim Boylan.
I could see it.
I was like, what the hell? I was like, imagine like this egghead like dude just like pulling up and just splashing everything.
If there's one thing unassuming white guys are good for, it's for pulling up from three.
Dude, that's one thing we've learned today. Unassuming white guys are the best shooters ever.
They are. They're good defenders. They're scrappy. They'll take the charge. Right. Every white guy is Kirk Heinrich.
Dude,
prove me wrong.
Captain Kirk, man.
Captain Kirk was a beast. I had a random question, since you mentioned you used to work with 670 The Score. Did you ever get to work with or interact with or interview anybody from the Bulls organization, or was that really not in your realm of your job?
Yeah, I was a producer. That wasn't really my wheelhouse.
Okay.
I did get to interact a little bit, just like with the guys that run the like Chuck Swirsky and Bill Wennington, the guys that call the game.
Oh, nice.
You hear your name on the radio, like, oh, thanks to Brandon Orlowski and whoever else for helping with the broadcast. So that's that was always cool.
That's sick.
But yeah, just little things like that.
What was there ever a time when you heard someone from the Bulls say something and you were just like, because I know you mentioned some things from Jim Boylan, but was there something that stood out to you where someone from the Bulls said something and you're just like, what the hell is going on here? Like, I cannot believe
every time Derrick Rose opened his mouth during his rehabs, when that was before he started speaking for himself, and like his brothers and his PR team would basically like feed him what to say. Like, he was like, Derrick, he's like, Derrick, why aren't you playing? I was like, oh, I don't know. I'm just letting God decide for me. It's like, but the doctors cleared you to play. Your next step in the rehab is to play. It's like, yeah, but I'm not feeling it. It's like, and like, I understand like where he's coming from, and like, the whole like, when Kawhi Leonard went through his rehab, that was like the like blowing the doors off, like guys taking as long as they want and taking as long as they need in order to come back 100% and not rush things. So
they know their body's better than anyone else.
Yeah. And like, and like that part I get. It's just the comments that he would make were just, they were just ridiculous and they didn't make any sense. And you knew they weren't coming from him. Because
this reminds me of Devin Hester would refuse to speak to the media because of how dumb he would sound. That's literally what it reminds me of.
Oh, really? I never knew he did.
Yeah, he had like this whole thing where he just didn't talk to the media for whatever reason, but everyone chalked it up to being he was just incompetent to answer like simple questions.
I mean, it's not his job to talk to the media. It's his job to take
Yeah.
it to the house 20 times.
Dude,
Yeah.
I witnessed that at a game one time, and it was like the craziest thing ever.
I met Devin Hester at a Harold's Chicken one time.
What?
I swear to God, when I was in college at Columbia, I was there. One night I used to go there a bunch. There was one right down the street from my dorm, and I was just in there one time waiting for my food, and in comes these two guys, and one of the guys is iced out. He's got the fucking gold watch, big ass chain. He's got the Jordans, fresh Jordans. I'm looking at this guy and I'm like, I know that this is not who I think it is. And then like one of the guys from like around back like recognized him because I guess he comes in there before and like they were talking to each other. So and then like it clicked. It's like, yeah, this is the GOAT right here. I'm in the presence right here. And also in that same Herald's one time after it was on a Sunday after a Bears game, I saw Jordan Howard and Tariq Cohen in there like with their families and shit.
What?
Bro,
Yeah.
Harold's Chicken is forever undefeated, bro. Harold's Chicken
Dude,
is
it's
the
the
spot.
best. I haven't had it in so long.
The
So
spot.
I wanted to ask just I guess a tangent about Devin Hester. So obviously when you look at Devin Hester on TV, he doesn't look like the most physically imposing guy. And
No, he's very tiny, very little guy.
so even in person, is that also what he looked like?
Yeah, I don't know what his listed height is.
Because the only
look
reason I'm
that up.
asking that is because my uncle had met Kobe, not met, I think, yeah, he met Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, he did.
And, on the court, Kobe Bryant doesn't look like the biggest dude, not the strongest dude, but he said Kobe Bryant looked like one of the most cut people he's ever seen in his life.
Yeah. Hester was ripped still.
Oh, my God.
Like anytime you meet these former NFL players or NBA players, like even at the Score, they have a lot of former players doing like pre and post game, and they even fill in sometimes for hosts when they're not there. Like they got guys like Olin Kreutz, who was the center for the Bears. He's huge, and he slimmed down from his offensive lineman days, but he's still, like 6'5", just jacked. Who else? Big Cat Williams is another. He was a left tackle in the 90s for the Bears. He's like 6'8", this gigantic dude. And then you got Devin Hester, who is listed at 5'11", but I'm gonna say that's cap. Just like Nate Robinson's listed height was 5'9", he was probably 5'6" at best.
Most definitely.
Really?
And also like Kevin Durant, like he's listed at like 6'10". He's easily 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to ask then, who is like the best player you've seen in person, or I guess like what's the best basketball performance you've seen in person, whether it's an NBA player or probably is an NBA player, but like what's the best performance you've seen in person?
I've only been to 2 or 3 NBA games, believe it or not. The first one I went to was the 2012 lockout season. Unfortunately, Derrick Rose was hurt that game with one of his many ailing injuries up until the big one. And they were playing the Raptors, and Joakim Noah got ejected that game, so I didn't even get to see him that much. So like, I'm watching fucking Omer Asik and CJ Watson start in the second half.
Dude.
And that game went to overtime, and Luol Deng hit a game winner, so that was pretty sick.
Well, dangerous.
So I mean that's probably the highlight. Then the next game I went to, they played the Nuggets, and they came back from they were down like 17 and they won.
Oh wow.
And then there was a game where they played the Heat when I think they had Levine at that point. But it was still like one of the shittier teams.
Yeah.
But yeah, that first game I went to where Luol Deng hit the game winner was nuts.
So you think Luol Deng was the best player performance you've seen?
As crazy as that sounds, it might be.
I don't blame you, dude. Luol Deng was a dog, man.
Yeah,
3 and D. I mean, he did it all.
Mm-hmm.
I miss those Bulls teams, but the first ever Bulls game I was at, they played the Seattle Supersonics.
Oh,
Yeah, that's how
man.
far back it was.
Bro, that was the first game I ever seen, like first ever basketball game, and we got crushed. This was obviously with Ray Allen and Rashard Lewis and like
Was it
all
Kevin
those dudes.
Durant? Was Kevin Durant
No,
on?
no, Kevin Durant was drafted like a little bit after, and this is like right when he got drafted is when they turned into OKC. Not too long
Yeah,
after
he
that.
was a Sonic for one year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. This was like very early, and I remember like nosebleed seats. It was like such an experience, but I remember just being like, "Oh yeah, we got crushed by the Supersonics!" Like as this little like shithead kid.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, Brandon, what do you think is the best screw up in Bulls front office history? Right. So we've got here's a
Oh
tool
God.
for people listening. Right? We missed the Miami Big Three, LeBron James,
Yeah. Yeah.
we missed Kobe Bryant, we missed Carmelo
The Kobe trade that never was.
Yeah. We missed
Could have had
Carmelo.
Melo.
Lamarcus Aldridge.
Fucking yeah. Tyrese Thomas.
Oh my god.
Friggin' Tyrese Thomas.
But yeah, what do you think was the best screw up or the craziest?
Well, I don't think it's not getting LeBron, because personally I don't think he was ever going to come here. I think the whole thing was, going to Miami with Wade and originally Melo, but he decided that he wanted to sign the contract in Denver, so that's how they got Bosh to come along. But yeah, that was in the cards for years, and I'm not going to really put that on the Bulls. I know Dwayne Wade says that he was this close to signing with the Bulls, but
He jacked it up. He said that too.
yeah, he's probably just, like you said, just playing it up for the time. I do think they had a fucking great shot at getting Carmelo. I really thought they were going to sign him. I really thought he was coming here.
2015 it was, right? Yeah.
2015, 2016.
Shows the money over potential shit.
Yeah,
potential shit.
the Knicks had 40 million better reasons to sign him. And, I ain't mad at you, but, what could have been, I don't know. I don't know what the Bulls could have done. They tried, but, Melo took the security with the money, and can't blame him.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but is the Bulls re-signing that team after they won their sixth championship not one of the biggest?
Oh shit! I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. That's definitely it.
That's
definitely it.
Yeah.
Not re-signing that squad.
It's
because
definitely letting Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, and Phil Jackson walk all in the same offseason.
Because they interviewed. I keep forgetting these podcasts that keep plugging this stuff, but Steve Kerr was on. Oh, it was Road Tripping with Richard Jefferson and Channing Frye and this other girl. I don't know her name.
Yeah.
Irrelevant right now, but they were talking to Steve Kerr, and they asked him the same question, and he said honestly, like, we would have done it because Mike assumed that we were gonna stay, but at the end of the day, like, I chose the bag going to the Spurs. I got paid.
No, and a guy like Steve Kerr, like a role player, you can't blame a guy like that. Like,
Yeah.
Even when the Bulls in 2013, when the first bench mob broke up after D Rose tore his ACL and they had to regroup, Korver going to the Hawks and Ashiq going to the Rockets, like, you can't blame those guys because they had two really good breakout years with the best team in the league statistically.
Yeah.
And you got to go get what's yours, man. You got to think about, your family, you got to think about yourself and your financials, you got to think about the future. And you may not win the championship, but there's some things you got to worry about first.
So the question, this is actually a perfect segue into what I wanted to ask you. So you said this would be obviously a perfect decision for Steve Kerr, but I want to ask you, Brandon Orlovsky, if you were in Carmelo Anthony's shoes, are you picking that $40 million bag, or are you trying to win a championship? Given your Carmelo Anthony, you're already rich anyways, what's your decision?
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously I'm never going to be Carmelo Anthony with this type of generational wealth. So I have no, because if you're Carmelo Anthony at that point, you've been in the league like 10 years already. You've made $100 million. You got endorsements that are worth way more than your NBA contract.
Yeah.
Easily, yeah.
You know, your wife's a supermodel. She's making money too.
Yeah.
You know,
He was
talented family.
engaged. He was
you know?
engaged to Mariah Carey at one point.
Was he?
Yeah, there you go.
He was.
The guy knows what he's doing. So,
Honeymoon.
so yeah, I mean, if I was in Carmelo Anthony's shoes, I would probably try to take a pay cut at that point in my career. But you know, some people just don't care about winning. Some people just want a ball. You know.
You look at a lot of, I wouldn't say the GOATs because the guys I'm going to mention aren't really considered the GOATs, but guys like that are just known to be really good players or if not great players. Steve Nash, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, LeBron, all these guys took pay cuts in order for their team to win. Granted, Steve Nash never won, but I remember he took a massive pay cut. So Quentin Richardson, Amari Stoudemire, that 7-second or less team that they all could get paid. And he was like, bro, I'll cut out however much million so my guys could eat. We can keep the team together. Everybody's happy. I got a potential of winning a ship.
Mm-hmm.
Dwayne Wade said the same thing. He said, he told LeBron, he said, we need to take a pay cut because we need UD in order to win, Udonis Haslem. And they were like, all right, like, let's do it. They didn't really care about giving up a couple mil. Mm-hmm. So I think that's what the big difference with guys is. Some guys are like, nah, bro, I'm going to get paid my 50, 60 mil. But other guys are like, dude, I'll give up that 20, 15, whatever $1 million in order to potentially win a championship, knowing I'll be able to get paid later. Like they're thinking, ahead.
Also, yeah, it's easy for us to say because we don't have millions of dollars.
Yeah,
and when you're an athlete, you got to think like you've given so much to get to this point. With just through childhood and school, high school, college, like you've sacrificed free time, friendships, family time, relationships, life experiences, and, to hone your craft and to get to this point as being one of the best in the world. So you want to be compensated how you think you should be compensated fairly. And, you also have to factor like, if I take a pay cut and then I tear my Achilles and then I'm done, then like now nobody's going to pay me because they're going to be like, well, he's got an injury. We're going to give him a 1-year deal, $2 million, see how he does. No, he could have signed $90 million for 4 years, but so like, again, like I said, I don't blame guys for chasing the bag.
Yeah.
It's Marshawn Lynch said the same thing. It's crazy we go back to like football players. Marshawn Lynch said the same thing. Protect your chicken.
Protect your chicken.
Protect your chicken. He kept telling these dudes.
Yeah, I mean, it's true.
Yeah, he kept telling these guys like, "Yo, you're in the league right now. You think you're hot shit. You're healthy. You're good. You're young, but once you get hit with that injury and you got no income and you didn't invest in other things or you don't have like money saved, like then you're screwed."
Yeah.
So I'm kind of playing devil's advocate here. Like I understand why certain guys are like, "Nah, bro. Like I need my money." Like, and to your point too, what you were saying is a lot of these guys, like you said, come from the ghetto, come from like really, really tough areas, and they've struggled their entire life. So when they get money, like obviously they're gonna be like, "Yo, I need all of this because I've been working so hard."
Yeah, I just looked up the average length of an NFL career is only 2.5 years.
Exactly, dude. It's crazy. The NFL is ridiculous.
There's a lot of guys that never get that second contract.
Mm-hmm.
Peyton Hillis, remember him when he was on the cover of Madden?
Yep, he had
was
that one
dog.
Great season.
Yeah.
It was like, and that's a great example. Like if you're like a role player and you have that breakout season, like who was the guy on Carolina? Like Mike Davis, that running back.
Yeah,
he's gonna get paid this year. Is he gonna repeat his same numbers? Maybe not, but he's gonna get paid and get security for the work that he just did.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not going to stay in Carolina because they got Christian McCaffrey coming back.
Yeah,
but yeah, he's going to get paid for what he's worth because he proved it.
Yeah, I wanted to segue now into one of our final segments, start, bench, cut. So this is an interesting one. This one is more of a question of talent versus winning. This is the start, bench, cut. You have all in their primes: Paul Pierce, Klay Thompson, Carmelo Anthony. So we got NBA champion Paul Pierce. We got 37 points in a quarter. We got 16
We got shit in his
points on
pants,
3
Paul
dribbles.
Pierce.
Yeah, we got taking a shit in the middle of a game, Paul Pierce. And we got Klay Thompson, who 60 points on 3 dribbles. And then you got scoring champion Carmelo Anthony.
All right, yeah, I'm writing these down. Okay, all in their prime.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Let's start, bench, cut.
Yeah.
It's only tough for 2 of them though. The other guy, I already know who I'm gonna cut. I'll let you go
let's
first.
see. I think I'm gonna cut Paul Pierce.
Really?
Ooh.
I think I'm gonna cut Paul Pierce
Okay.
because as great as he is, he's a great champion, NBA legend. I think, like, especially with those Celtics teams, like I thought Ray Allen and KG were better. I don't know if, like Paul Pierce is an NBA legend, but like I don't know if he's as high as people think he is. Personally,
Okay.
Huh.
It's not completely blasphemous. I
You can't
understand
really
where
go
you're
wrong
coming
with
from.
this. You can't go wrong with this list.
Yeah, it's not completely blasphemous. So who you benching and who you starting?
because like also I feel like these are all great players, but like they're not like they're like maybe like 1B like superstars,
Yeah.
like Carmelo Anthony, like obviously like one of the all-time leading scorers, but never won a ring, can't play
Just
defense
past
for shit.
Hakeem Olajuwon, right? He
I
just
believe
passed Hakeem
so.
Olajuwon in
Yeah.
the all-time scoring. Yeah.
But like Carmelo can't play defense for shit.
Yeah.
No. I honestly, I don't mean to correct you. He can play defense, but he doesn't. There's a difference.
He just chooses not to.
Yeah. End result is the same, but I think he chooses not to.
Yeah.
See, like, and for that reason, that makes me maybe want to cut Carmelo Anthony.
Cut his ass.
You know,
We'll cut him off.
What's your 3 then? What's your start bench cut then?
My start is probably going to be Klay Thompson.
Huh.
And my bench will still be Carmelo because he's the scoring champion.
Yeah.
What about you, Jamil?
For me, I got my starting as Paul Pierce. I have him as starting just because he's a winner, man, and he honestly wasn't.
No, yeah, he's a champion.
He's a champion. He's got the moves. He's got the shooting. He's got it all.
He's got ice too. He's got ice in his veins.
Oh yeah. And then second, I'm benching Klay Thompson. I think he's arguably one of the greatest shooters of all time. He's probably the best like groove shooter, if that makes sense. Like he gets hot, I think probably better than anyone else ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then I'm cutting Carmelo because he just hasn't won and because of the defense as well. But this was hard.
Fair. That's fair.
I think I'm doing the same thing.
That was a tough one.
I was doing the
Those are
same
good
thing,
picks.
but like you said, you can't go wrong with like any combination, honestly.
Yeah. Okay. The next one, in their Lakers career, we got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, LeBron James, and Kobe Bryant.
Ooh. The
Taking
Lakers
Kareem.
careers. Okay. So
Starting Kareem.
So not Lou Alcindor on the Bucks.
No.
Not no Miami Heat, no Cleveland. You got to start Kobe, right?
Yeah. That's me.
Okay. That was easy.
Okay.
Bench Kareem, cut LeBron. I mean, if we're just going off Lakers careers, that's what you got to do.
I agree.
I
agree.
think I'm the exact same 3. I think maybe you give LeBron a couple years. It's possible he passes him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
But Kareem 1-5, right? Kobe 1-5. No, Magic 1-5. I don't know if Kareem 1-5 with the Lakers.
Yeah. Okay. Now here is an interesting one. We have Tim Duncan, Larry Bird, and Kobe Bryant.
Such a weird, like.
That's really weird.
That's a weird combo.
The Timmy D, Bird and
Bird.
Kobe.
I'm still gonna start Kobe. And then that's a tough one.
Bro. People disrespect Kobe, man, because like so disrespectful to Kobe, man. People like I was literally talking to my cousin about this yesterday, and I'm like, bro, Why is this man not considered in the GOAT conversation? Like, I don't understand it. He's at least top 5 in the GOAT conversation. At least.
I'd say
Yeah.
top 5 for sure.
Yeah, like it baffles me. But sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just gonna start Kobe, and then that's tough afterwards. I'm probably gonna see. This is tough because like I consider Tim Duncan to be the best power forward of all time. So like benching him, putting him on the bench would be appropriate. Uh, I want to cut Larry Bird, but I know how cold he is.
Yo, we were talking about cold white boys. That is a cold white boy, man.
That
Fuck,
man
it's
was
tough.
sorry for that voice crack. Beast.
Yeah, but then like you think about Tim Duncan and like he just like he every single game he ever played was a 20 and 10, you know.
He had that quadruple double. I don't care what anyone says. They robbed him of the 2 blocks.
Robbed him.
That's a tough one. I'm probably gonna you know what? I think I'm gonna bench Larry Bird. I'm gonna cut Tim Duncan. No, you know what? I'm gonna switch that. Cut Larry Bird.
Yeah,
Final answer.
I'm going the exact same thing. What about
I
you?
like I always liked me some Timmy D.
What about you, Abe?
So it's Kobe, Timmy D, Larry Bird. So I'm
Yeah.
taking Kobe starting. I'm gonna bench Larry Bird and Timmy D. I'm gonna cut. Even though I agree, Timmy D's arguably the best power forward in the game of
Yeah.
all time.
Okay, so we're gonna end off today's podcast with a snake draft. So the way the snake draft works, I'm sure you're probably familiar with this. Snake draft is Brandon, you pick first, me second, Ibrahim third, then Ibrahim picks again, and then it goes back up to the top, and Brandon, you get 2 picks, and we go back and forth that way.
And what are we drafting, Jamil?
Yeah.
We're gonna be drafting the most.
You could switch it up
mentally-
if you want. Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna be drafting the most mentally tough NBA players, unless you had a better idea of players. But I was thinking the most mentally tough.
Okay.
Can
Okay.
can we call an audible and say the best white players? Since we've been
Do
doing
you want to?
I mean, that's up
I
to
think
you
that-
guys.
I think that'll be fun if we do the best
Okay.
white players.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not offended.
That'll be, I think that because that's been the running joke all podcasts. So let's do that. The best
Let's
white
do
players.
it. Let's
in
do
NBA
it.
history.
Yes. Let's go.
Let's do that.
Let's
Just because,
fucking
like,
go.
Our whole agenda has been changed throughout the day, which is cool. Like I'm not upset or
Oh,
anything.
I'll put in a quick link for you guys if you want to see get a good
The
idea.
best white players in NBA.
Yeah, this is actually a pretty good list.
They actually have a list.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
I'm writing them down right now, man.
Okay. This is
Let's
amazing.
go.
So Brandon,
All right, Brandon, you got your first pick. With the
First
first pick in the
First pick.
all-white NBA draft.
I'm taking Larry Legend.
All right,
Hick from
Also,
Frank
how many,
Hick.
Yes. How many picks are we doing?
doing a lineup. So 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then
Alright.
yeah, now it's gonna be me.
You need to pick Jerry West because I know you love Jerry West.
I hate Jerry West. I hate him with a fury.
I hate-
I'm gonna go with the assist champ and the steals all-time leader as well, John
Jerry
Stockton.
West. Oh,
John Stockton. I thought you were going with Steve Nash.
No.
Ask that bitch like Stockton.
I was hating on Steve Nash the other day as well. I don't know. I don't think I have a thing against the white players, but I was only hating on Steve Nash because
I hope
I
not.
didn't think he
We
deserved
have a
to be-
problem, sir.
I promise. I don't hate white players. Okay. All right, Abe.
All right. Honestly, this is amazing that I got my favorite player in this draft, so I'm going Dirk Nowitzki. Speaking of
Solid.
the Mavericks, real quick, gotta rep the Luka Doncic study jersey.
White boy right there.
Yes.
Dirk.
Oh, yeah. I'm going Dirk, and then I got another pick. So honestly, I don't think you guys are gonna pick him just based on even though he's on this list. So I'm gonna go with Luka.
Go ahead.
So no, just so nobody snatches him.
Go ahead, man.
Jamil, you're up.
He's definitely the best white guy right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for
He's a
sure.
monster.
He could play the 1 through 5, the 1 through 3.
He's being compared to Larry Bird the way he
Yeah.
plays. I mean,
Yeah.
he's a reminiscent style of him.
There's something about Dallas just loving.
6'8", moves like a guard.
Yeah. There's something about Dallas just loving like these white boys that are from Europe. Like there's something
Yeah,
about it. I don't
exactly.
know what
These
it is.
foreign white guys. Chris
Seriously.
I mean, even Steve Nash is from Canada.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
I'm gonna take ooh. I'm gonna take Kevin McHale.
Kevin McHale. That's a
Kevin
good
McHale.
pick.
Over okay.
No, it was between him and Jokic, but I was like, I'm gonna take Kevin McHale because
Kevin
he had-
McHale is big, man.
yeah.
He's got like you ever seen him like do his when he was coaching the Rockets and they were getting smashed. You ever listen to his post like his timeouts or his ATOs or whatever you want to call them?
No, what did he say?
No.
He just like is so motivating and like yo they're getting smashed by like 40 and he's still like yo keep it up, keep going. This like it's as if they're not even like they have a chance to win the game.
Yeah.
But he's a big dude, man. He's got like big shoulders, broad shoulders.
Oh, I
Sorry.
just saw somebody else that I should have picked. Hopefully I'll get him next time. All right, you go.
All right, my turn.
Yep.
Sure.
You get 2 picks.
All right, second pick. Thank you for bringing Nikola Jokic up because I think I'm going to do him.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to pick him. He might win MVP this year.
Yeah, I saw a post earlier today saying the same thing.
I think he moved up to first place because what's his name got injured. Embiid.
LeBron got the high
Oh, and
ankle
Embiid too,
sprain.
man.
And then, Embiid's hurt too. And I'm going to go way back. I'm going to nab my point guard. I'm taking Pistol fucking Pete.
Oh,
Pistol
I was gonna
Pete.
take him, bro. Yeah.
Pete,
Pistol
man.
Beast.
Pistol Pete Maravich. One of the baddest motherfuckers ever.
Yeah. This is the person I'm gonna take is someone who was talking about just yesterday. Bill Walton. I'm taking
Yeah,
That
Bill.
fucking guy.
That guy was a beast.
Walton was a monster. You got a big team, man. You got a defensive team too.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna go with. Oh man. Okay. I'm gonna have to. I need shooting, so I'm gonna go Peja Stojakovic.
Dang it.
As if I don't have-
Ooh.
As if I don't have enough shooting already. And I'm gonna go Drazen Petrovic, man. Drazen
Fuck.
Petrovic,
Fuck.
bro. Drazen Petrovic,
Dude.
man. If that man, he's one of the biggest what ifs in my
Mhm.
opinion because this man died too soon. Obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, he died in his third year, right?
Oh,
Man.
man.
He was averaging 22 a game.
Yeah, bro. He was a monster. And those jerseys I used to wear were clean. They brought him back this year.
I'm gonna take none other than AK-47.
Andre Kirilenko.
Dude,
Yes,
I
sir.
forgot about him, bro. This is a fire
too.
draft. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah. This is a good draft.
Shit. I know there's more that. Ooh. Okay.
So these are your final 2 picks, I think.
Yeah, you're gonna close this last round. up.
Okay. I'm gonna take 2 legends. I'm gonna go with Chris Mullin is gonna be my 4.
Ooh.
Sharpshooter from the Golden State Warriors. And then I'm gonna take John Havlicek from the
Ooh.
from those
Jazz?
Celtics teams.
Oh, okay. Oh wait, no, Havlicek didn't play for the Jazz. Never mind. That's solid. Jamil, you gotta pick Jerry West, bro. He's still on the
No.
board.
No. Actually, I'm gonna take someone who I think would have torn his ACL just by his who would have torn Jerry West's ACL just from his dribbling. Jason Williams.
White chocolate.
I'm putting
I
him
knew
in-
you were gonna pick
Fuck.
him up.
I completely fucking forgot about him.
I knew you were gonna pick up white chocolate, bro.
White chocolate. How could you forget white chocolate? If you have white in your nickname, you're a beast, bro.
Yeah.
Unless you're the White Mamba. Actually, no, White Mamba was a beast too.
White Mama was. Oh,
I thought about taking him for
I
for
was
the
thinking
for the,
honorable
for the
mention,
roles.
White Mamba.
6-man.
Yeah.
6-man, yeah.
What about you, Ibrahim?
All right, I'm closing this out with my last pick. I need a big man. Jokic got picked up. I want to pick up George Mikan, but honestly, just because I love this guy so much, I'm gonna pick up Arvydas Sabonis.
Nice.
Yeah, I was thinking about him earlier too.
He was a monster, man. This is crazy. So let me real quick. Brandon, you got Larry Bird, Jokic, Pistol Pete, Chris Mullin, John Havlicek. Jamil, you got John Stockton.
That's deadly.
That's deadly. Very deadly. Man, I'm happy we call it audible on this draft because this is like probably a better draft than the most mentally tough players like that. This is
Yeah.
This one was a good one.
Jimmy, you got John Stockton, Kevin McHale, Bill Walton, AK-47, and White Chocolate. Easily the team with the best nicknames. Easily.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Easily. I got Dirk Nowitzki, Luka Doncic, Peja Stojakovic, Drazen Petrovic, Arvydas Sabonis. I got the itch.
You got the
Itch.
itch.
Shaq said, anybody with the name Stojakovic, Jokic.
Yeah, you
with
got
the
the
itch.
you got the Slavic lineup.
Yeah, he's like anything with the itch. You know, they got the clip with him.
For real. Honorable mention that I was thinking about picking was prime Kevin Love. This man was getting what?
Yeah,
20?
Yeah.
I thought about
Yeah.
Kevin Love too.
Yeah.
I thought about Corver too.
Oh, that would have been
Corver,
beast.
Captain Kirk, man.
Kirk Heinrich,
Yeah.
All right.
Steve Kerr.
Yeah.
Those would have been
Crazy.
real. All right, for sure. Well, that is another end to another successful podcast. Brandon, it was an honor having you on today's podcast. Is there anything you want to say? Anything you want to say to the people? Any final words you got?
Thanks for having me. Anytime you guys want to do this again, just hit me up. I'm always open. If you want to check out the What's Wrong With Us podcast, it's on pretty much all the big podcast platforms. It's on Apple, it's on Spotify, it's on Google Play, it's on Anchor, where it's hosted. So you can check that out. What's Wrong With Us? If you want to check out that social media for that, it's at What's Wrong Podcast on Instagram and at WWWU Podcast on Twitter. And then if you want to reach me across all social media, I'm at Brandon Orlowski.
All
Real
right.
quick, y'all need to come out with merch. Stop
See,
playing with me, bro.
See, it's hard to do merch when we only have a fan base of like 30 people. But maybe we can do some custom drip. Maybe we can
Yeah.
get that going.
Yeah. But thanks so much, man, for jumping on. We really appreciate you. Really appreciate the time you took out. Yeah, man.
So, yeah.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely, guys.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to Comment Podcast. Good night.